Hello and welcome back to our bonus episode for those made to do supply chain and logistics. We are joined again with Ayman Kabbara, Managing Director of Scan Global Logistics UAE. Today we are answering the wildcard question that we proposed to Ayman in our main episode. For a bit of context, we tried to make the wildcard question a little unexpected, thought-provoking, and the sky is the limit on how you approach it. In your experience, how do you handle disruptions caused by political tensions, regional conflicts, or unexpected events? And what contingency plans are in place to maintain the continuity of shipping logistics operations in the Middle East?
All right, I have to take a minute to think of the answer. A book called The New Silk Road or something like that. It's a very nice book. It talks about the history of the world, basically, from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the history of trade. And it dawned on me while I was reading the book. I like reading history books. I like watching history documentaries. And it has always been consistent. Ever since the dawn of civilization, we have been sitting in a hot zone, in an area that has always seen conflicts, political unrest, and always a lot of tension. Before the invention of borders, countries, religion, color, there was always fight or conflict within this area of the world. And it got me thinking, it has always been the case because of its strategic location and the fact that it's the connection between East and West. And it's the most optimal way to move cargo from East to West and vice versa. So we will always seek, unless technology would come up with different ways of moving cargo, because it's not only cargo, but cargo was a main driver, by the way. So this area will always be a hot zone. And again, if you listen to the previous episodes, I like challenges on a personal level. I like to be on my toes every day. I say sometimes that I wish I was born in New Zealand or maybe in Alaska, but I'm sure they have their own challenges and they have their own...
Absolutely.
Definitely. But I want to be challenged every day, and I want to also have the opportunity of preparing for what's to come and being surprised, because no matter how much you prepare, you'll always be surprised. And no matter how much you have rules in place and processes in place in order to manage disruption, because you will never be able to control disruption, you will always be surprised, and you have to come up with new solutions that fits to the specific needs. So going back to your question, and I made a massive introduction here.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to go back. How do we prepare for geopolitical unrest? Just we wait and see.
But then also in the main episode, you talked a lot around contingency plans.
Yes.
But then you were also saying that you have to act fast and be agile.
Yes.
So if you could speak to the kind of dynamic between those two things, I think would be really interesting.
It's thinking outside the box, right? So we have contingency plans. If a specific mode of transport is not available anymore, how do we mitigate that risk? What do we do if we have a shutdown in one of the warehouses? How do we transport the cargo from that warehouse? What is the alternative warehouse that we have? So there's always these what-if solutions, or just like off-the-shelf process that we have in place, made by people that are extremely smart, that really think outside the box and come up with different scenarios of what might happen, right? And then now we have technology that will help us even enhance how we manage this and how we look into it. And specifically AI, for example, right? But there's also this agility to call someone you know. For example, this Red Sea problem that we had now. And since late December until today, there has been a lot of disruption in the global supply chain, not only in the Red Sea. Panama Canal is having problems. Global warming, I'm going to blame it on global warming, but it's sort of caused by global warming. And it has disrupted the global supply chain. And we had to come up with quick solutions in order to service clients who had cargo already moving and now stuck somewhere. And it's who you know, who can you call, what's your network in that specific country, how can I use the global network of Scan Global Logistics in order to come up with different solutions. And this requires speed of action and agility. And sometimes it's not just like a manual that you pull out and say, oh, but there's no Bab al-Mandeb mentioned there, what do we do now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to take this one step further, because you mentioned global warming, and it made me think of the real threat that's coming with that. Let's say natural disasters in the future. Because in the last year or two, we've seen so much flooding, so many wildfires. So what happens after a disaster occurs and a cargo is lost or is at risk? What do you do in that case?
We are the facilitator. We help shippers deliver cargo to customers, to their consignees. We connect them with the different parties involved, but we are not owners of the cargo in the process. And this has been set by global Incoterms. It has been the way since the invention of shipping. So there are specific terms and conditions that are mentioned at the back of something called the Bill of Lading, which is the document that dictates the responsibilities of the shipping company when it comes to the movement of the cargo, or today the airway bill when it comes to air freight movement, so there's different conventions, but called the Incoterms that dictates the roles and responsibilities of the different parties involved. Some companies do offer insurance, but it's usually also done through an insurance broker. We are not an insurance broker.
To hone back in to unexpected events and contingency plans, what were the ripple effects of the pandemic?
You know how it started. I remember very well when it started spreading, I would say. We were one of the industries that did not have to quarantine because we are a core industry and we had to continue serving you guys that were stuck at home.
We were frontliners. Well, we were in the UK at the time, so education was a frontline industry as well, so we had to keep going.
So I don't remember quarantining at all, but what happened is that all of a sudden a lot of port operators, because you remember it's an industry that is progressing and advancing and trying to adopt technology as much as possible, but we still rely on manpower, we still rely on people handling cargo, we still have drivers driving trucks. So a lot of people had to quarantine, and this reduced the supply of manpower at major ports and truck drivers and all the related jobs or professions needed in order to move cargo, which delayed the functioning of specific ports, and that had ripple effect on other ports where containers are being stuck, then they're not making it on the vessels, there's no need to sail that vessel, let's skip the port, and then it kept on having a massive, it's like a snowball that kept rolling down. Eventually it got to a stage where cargo became extremely expensive as well. And there was very high demand, very little supply, and all of us had our Amazon cargo being late.
Yes. And the toilet paper crisis
this is
in the
UK. Oh my God.
We can laugh about it now. But
it has anything that happens in the industry, we are known to be the first ones to feel it and the last one to get out of it. It's like immediately there's a disruption, it's being felt. And it's not only limited to ocean freight business, it's air freight business and even trucking business and rail business. And it's the global supply chain at the end of the day. This is why they call it global.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing your insights. I know it was a tough question and I think we covered a lot. So we appreciate your thoughts on this. Before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to mention to our listeners that we haven't covered already? So it's your time to promote anything you're doing outside of Scan Global, I guess.
Thank you so much. Thank you for saying promote, because now I love promoting what I do. I love promoting the company that I work with. Yes, I would say watch that space. If you are genuinely looking for a partner, a smart supply chain and logistics partner who could sit with you on the table and help you come up with solutions to meet your objectives and strategy when it comes to your business and when it comes to your global supply chain, please do sit with Scan Global Logistics. We are very personal. We like to personalize every service that we do. I think this is going to be the future of doing business, enough with this automation as much as we do it on operations, but there has to be a personal element into it. Like I mentioned earlier, we are a global freight forwarder with 160 offices across the globe. So no matter where you're shipping from or to, we have our own people in all corners of the world that can assist and can add value, hopefully.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Sounds brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Ayman, for your time.
Thank you for your time.
And thanks for listening so far. Thanks.
When's the next one then?
We'll do round 2 next year.
All right.
Bye.